how's it going, guys? This is Rod from webhostwarriors.com, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing StableHost and their web hosting services. Now, before we go over the plans, performance and speed tests and all the nitty-gritty about StableHost, let's go over what StableHost is about at a glance. Let's go over their history and what their company is all about. So with StableHost, they have a fairly smaller team. If you compare them to like mega brands like HostGator, Bluehost, or any Endurance International group companies, the StableHost has a fairly smaller team of roughly 15 people. So that could be a good and a bad thing, but I look at that as a good thing because they have more people that, not necessarily more people, but each person is fairly dedicated and has their own duties to fulfill for that company. So instead of people that are coming into work that may not be happy with where they're going, at least with this company, it's a smaller group, it's a tight-knit group. It's it's a smaller group that cares about their customers, and the fact that they've been around since 2009, so they've been around for around 8 years, and the fact that this small team can compete with some of the larger web hosting brands, it pretty much shows how good of a service, and it's pretty much a testament of what they've done to thrive and survive in this really harsh environment, because web hosting is not an easy business. It's a very cutthroat industry, and a lot of companies left, right, and center pop left and right, and they normally don't last very long. So the fact that StableHost is still around and they provide really good products and services is a testament, again, on how good and how high quality their services are. So with that in mind, let's go over with some other stuff. So the control panels, they do have their own user interface that they use for dedicated hosting. In terms of hardware, they have fairly updated hardware. They use 96 gigs of RAM, dual E5 CPUs, and enterprise level SSDs for their own servers within their network. So that's fairly impressive. There's a lot of companies out there that are like 10, 20 years old. They've pretty much use the same type of machinery or the same type of equipment, and they're not really inclined to upgrade. But at least with this company, it's still fairly new, and with that in mind, they've had a fair amount of growth since 2009. And also with their support, they have a fairly good support as well. I mean, if you look at the very bottom of the site, I mean, they have their own phone number in big bold letters, so you can pretty much call at any time. They have 24/7 support. So overall, a company, in my eyes, it doesn't really throw out any red flags for me. So overall, it looks like a good company. Now, let's go over the actual web hosting plan. So they have different types of plans. They have standard shared web hosting, enterprise level web hosting, reseller web hosting, and VPS and dedicated hosting as well. And in terms of apps, I mean, they pretty much integrate with all of the big major apps like PHP/BB if you're planning to making communities or forums, Drupal for like making educational types of websites, same thing with Joomla, and of course WordPress. It's one of the biggest website building platforms out there, and of course they also support Magento, which is an e-commerce website building program. And other than that, why should you choose StableHost? StableHost has limited bandwidth. Their network can support up to 200 gigabytes per second with their network. They utilize, again, high quality equipment. They have 24/7 support. They have really fairly quick, fast load times, which I'm going to be going over later in the video. And they do have one-click installations as well within the dashboard. So with that in mind, again, it's not throwing red flags for me. So overall, I mean, StableHost is a fairly good company so far. And also, they're pretty open and they're pretty transparent as well. They also do have real customer reviews as well, which I'm going to go over later. But other than that, let's focus more on the shared web hosting plans that they have. So with the shared web hosting plans, they have 3 different types of plans. They have the starter plan, pro, and platinum. So the starter is $4.95 per month, the pro is $8.95, and their platinum is $29.95. Now, if we look at the key differences between the packages, if we start off with the starter and pro packages, the websites that you can own for the starter package if you're just starting out is just one website, but you do get to utilize again, 24/7 support. I believe with emails, let me see. Okay, it doesn't provide the amount of emails that you can have on there, but from my understanding, you can utilize multiple emails through their own web hosting. So that was started in the pro programs. With the pro program, you do have unlimited websites. You can have up to 500 accounts per server, about 2,500 max files. You get 1 full CPU core. Then with a platinum, you get 2 of those and pretty much double the max files, but you do get less accounts per server since it is more of a dedicated server. Other than that, you also do get tools like script troubleshooting, hack or compromise repair, and security and spam expert spam filtering with the platinum edition. So those are pretty much the key differences with their actual web hosting in that regard. And other than that, now let's go over their customer reviews. So their customer reviews, if you go over to ratelobby.com, these are real reviews over the company. So there's over 196 ratings, and they're rated 4.91 stars. So you can just pretty much scroll down here. I mean, they've gotten fairly good ratings, considering, again, they have a smaller team. Now let's go over the performance side of it. So I'm here at hostbenchmarker.com. And by looking at some of the page speed test results with StableHost, it's actually competing with some of the best web hosting companies out there. So their average page load speed is 3.8 seconds, and the average load time for most web hosting companies for other web pages is around 7 seconds. So the fact that it's 3 seconds for an average, it's just fairly quick. Best times are 2.39 seconds. And their worst was 12.29. If you compare it again with like HostGator, Bluehost, DreamHost, all these other companies, it can hold up there. So by getting involved with StableHost, at least you know that you're getting a really good above average product. So there's no complaints there. And other than that, in terms of uptime, it's pretty much 99.9%. So if you look at these other companies, it's placed around 5th place. It's 99.94%. So in terms of uptime, you don't really have to worry about your website going down. So it's pretty much up 99.9% of the time. So, with that in mind, just by looking at these characteristics with StableHost, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that it's a safe company to get involved with. If you want to get involved with a smaller team where there's more care and more passion involved compared to a big mega brand like Bluehost and HostGator where they have hundreds, if not thousands, of employees, I would get involved with StableHost and look at their plans. And you can go ahead and click below the description or throughout the video to look at their website and look at the plans that are right for you. So you can pretty much go from web hosting plans, unless you already have a fairly big business. You can go with enterprise. If you plan on being a referrer of the company and sell the hosting yourself, they have reseller hosting for $9.95, and then VPS at $9.95 as well. So with that in mind, guys, that's pretty much the review. That pretty much sums up the review for StableHost. Overall, I don't see very many red flags with the web hosting company, which is why I'm reviewing them and openly promote them. So with that in mind, guys, just go ahead and click below, look at the plans with StableHost, and that's pretty much it, guys. So I'll see you guys on the next one.